Today we're going to be talking about the Segway Infokey and the lights that are on the panel in the footpad. Between where you put your 2 feet, there's a panel that has either red or green lights that are showing. And we're going to be talking about those today. Well, the Infokey Controller key has 4 buttons on it. There's the power standby button on the bottom left-hand corner. There's the turtle button, which the manual refers to as the beginner button on the top left. Then there's the information display button on the top right. And finally, the lock button or the security button on the bottom right. So this info controller key has a number of things that will pop up when you first start your machine, but you may not know what they are. And those things include the information display, which is right at the very top, that tells the time, the distance, and the speed. Then there's a wrench that will pop up kind of in the middle of the screen, and that indicates a system default that would require service. It also is displayed if you're doing a safety shutdown, which we probably won't do. There's a face icon, and there's a series of those icons displayed to indicate status. You may see a happy, a sad, or a neutral face, depending upon the current status of your Segway. Kind of on the bottom right of the screen, you're going to see a security button, and that shows a lock, which indicates that the security button is activated. So if you see the lock, the machine is locked. If you don't see it, it's unlocked. Then in the center of the button, you're going to see what the owner's manual refers to as the beginner icon. We always call that the turtle key. And if you see that icon, that turtle, then that says that you're in turtle mode. If you don't see it, you're in high speed mode. In the very bottom of the controller key is the info controller link signal. And this indicates that the controller key is actually communicating with the Segway. And you have to be within 15 feet of the machine in order to be able to communicate with your Segway. There's a ride detector error that is just above that controller link signal and the turtle button. And if that displays, if any of 2 of the 4 rider detect sensors are not depressed while you're riding, displays in the standby mode if you attempt to step on a PT and they're not ready to ride, and the displays at startup if there is a weight on the mats. That's when you would see those that rider detect error. So it's really checking to make sure that there's someone on the machine. There's the AC power icon. That's on the bottom left-hand side of your screen. It indicates the PT is plugged in to the AC power supply. And when the machine is plugged into the AC power supply, you cannot turn the machine on. The machine has to be unplugged before you can activate the machine and get it turned on. Then there's the info controller low battery key. It indicates the battery must be replaced. So if you see that over on the left-hand side of where your power charge bars are, that would indicate that it's time to change the battery in your info controller key. Then we have the 8 bars, which shows up on the screen and indicates the amount of power that remains in the Segway battery. So that's the recharge limit. If you have 8 bars, you have a full charge and you're ready to go. And then finally, there's a warning button that shows up in the middle of the screen. That's caused by factors such as aggressive riding, a system operating outside of the temperature range, or the rider lifting a foot off the pad. And those are the controller key icons that you may see from time to time. Although when you're riding, you won't see all of them, obviously. So in this, what I just went through, there's a slide represented here that will go through that very same information. So the power standby key, if you're standing no more than 15 feet from your Segway, you just, to power on, push and hold that button, and that will start your Segway. To power it off, you do the opposite. You push and hold that button for a couple of seconds. And there's a video that's going to show what lights turn on your machine when you power up, and what lights you need to function in order to operate the machine. And finally, if you tap that power key, just tap it, don't press and hold it, but tap it. That will give you the opportunity to take your machine out of gear and put it into neutral, so that you can do such things as put your kickstand down, or put it into the security mode, lock the machine without hearing the loud noise that you would hear if the machine was already locked when you're trying to put the kickstand down. So here's a quick video that we're going to talk about that shows how to power up the machine. Well, we've come out and we're ready to ride. First things first is turn the machine on and make sure all the green lights are where they're supposed to be. So to turn the machine on, you simply come up to the Info key, reach down to the bottom left-hand button, push the button and hold it, and the machine will start. When the machine is started while on the kickstand, you'll notice that there's one red light that's showing at the front, at the top of the panel in the middle of your foot pads. Now we need that red light to be a green light in order to operate the machine. And to get it to be a green light, we roll the machine back until you see the green light. Now you're in neutral. And from that neutral position, you can either put it in gear, or you can just simply put it back on the kickstand. To put it back on the kickstand, you push the kickstand button down, lean the machine forward, and it's still there. Put it in gear, again, wait, pull it back up till you see the green light, then just simply tap the footpad. Now you're going to see 5 green lights. 5 green lights means you're good to go. So now we're going to talk a little bit about the functions, whether how to get the machine into the turtle mode, or what the manual would call the beginner mode. And to do so, you'd have to be off the machine. You just simply tap that upper left-hand button, and that will put it into the turtle mode if you're in high speed, or vice versa, put you in high speed if you happen to be in turtle mode. If for some reason you need a light, then you would just simply press and hold that same button, and a backlight would come in on the controller key. But since we don't ride these things in the dark, I don't think that makes much of a difference. So we're going to we've put together a little video that's going to be coming up here that shows how to change the time, the date, and what the functions are on that top right-hand button, which is the information display button, and we're going to talk about those functions. So when you first change your battery, 1200 is going to appear on the screen. Mine says 1223 at the moment, and that's because I changed my battery 23 minutes ago. Well, to change the battery to the correct time, you would first push and hold the upper right-hand button. And now the number 12 is flashing. That's indicating it's a 12-hour clock. If you push the bottom button, you can make it a 24-hour clock. We want the 12-hour clock, so we'll push the bottom button once more, and the 12 will be flashing. If you push the button once more, now it's saying 12 a.m. Well, it's not 12 a.m. Right now it's 11:31 a.m. So we're going to push the bottom button until 11 comes up. So that's the 11 o'clock. Now we want to adjust the minutes, so we're going to push the upper right button once more. And 23 is coming up, and I want to make that 32 because it's 11:32. And 11:32. Now if we push the upper right-hand button once more, 11:32 is in.
and we push it, and we're getting 1-1. To change that, we're going to push and hold the button. And now you're going to see month and hour, and month and day. So 2006, it's not 2006, it's 2021. So you push the bottom button, 7, 8, and it's going to put all the way up to 2021. And you push the button once more, and the month showing up as 1. Well, this is February, so we're going to make it February. And we're going to push the button once more, and then the day today is the 23rd of February, so I'm going to make that go up to 23 by pushing the bottom button. Each time I push the button, it advances 1 day. So this day is 23. So it's 223. Push the button again, and you're going to come up with a 0. Now that first 0 is the miles per hour that your machine is traveling at. So the faster you go in your machine up to 12.5 miles an hour, the speed will show here. When you push it a second time, you're going to get the average miles per hour. And right now that's 0 because I haven't gone anywhere. And when you push it the third time, that's the number of miles that your machine has traveled since you last reset it. It's kind of like an odometer. So this is already reset to 0. To make sure, if you had numbers there, all you would need to do to get it back to 0 is push and hold the upper right-hand button, and whatever miles you have on that will revert back to 0. And if you push the button once more, that comes up to 000 miles. If this was communicating with my machine, that would tell me how many miles are on my machine. But I'm not standing next to my machine at the moment. So we'll show you that, what the miles are a little bit later on. So it's 11:33 a.m. by pushing the button once more. It's February 23rd. And then you come back to that first 0. When I ride the machine, I always like to have the first 3 pushes of the buttons 0. So that the first 0 is the miles per hour that your machine is currently moving, is 0. When you push it a second time, it comes up to 0. That's the average speed that your machine has traveled since you last reset it. And you can reset that again by pushing and holding the top right-hand button. And finally, that will be the miles on your machine, and when you're communicating with the machine, it will show. So that's it for the top setting the time and date.
So here are the instructions on how to do that. It is in your owner's manual, page 45, but that was a video that will help you do that. Again, more information on setting, using that information key to set your time and date. And this is a segment that talks about how to get the security button going, or how to lock your machine. And this is an area that many people seem to be a little confused on. So we have a video put together here, which hopefully will point out the correct way, or a way, to lock your machine. There's more than one.
If you're in gear and you want to lock the machine and put it back on the kickstand, what you must do is tap the power key, which is the bottom left again. Just tap it once, and the machine will go back into a neutral position with just one green light showing. With one green light showing, you have all kinds of options. You can put it back on a kickstand. Easy for me to say. And once it's on its kickstand, you can actually lock the machine. And to lock the machine, you simply go back up to the controller key. There it is. And push the bottom right-hand button. Notice you've stopped hearing
anything from the machine, or maybe you can hear that. And when you look down, you're going to see three red lights going back and forth across the panel in the middle of your foot pads. That tells you the machine is locked. And if you try to move the machine now, you're going to hear the stick shake warning going on, or the alarm button going off. So now you can go to lunch, have your cup of coffee, whatever it is you're going to do. The machine is in a locked position. Remember, I repeat, do not turn your key off at this point, because if you do, the machine will become unlocked. And then the purpose of the lock would be vanquished. So, in order to unlock the machine, you simply come back from your meal or your lunch, go to the lock button on the bottom right-hand side of your controller Infokey, tap it, and what you're going to see is you're back to the one light. When the one light is on, again, you just simply roll the machine back till you see the green light. When you see the green light, tap the foot pad and you're good to go. Again, to take it out, it's now in gear, ready to ride. To get it out of gear, you simply take your controller key button, bottom left, tap it once, not hold it, just tap it. And when you tap it, you're back to one single green light. That takes it out of gear. You can put the kickstand back down. And when the kickstand is down and it's out of gear, you're going to get the one red light, which tells you that it's not safe to ride. If you should move the handlebar left and right, you're going to see other red lights that are appearing. All of that is normal. It's just simply telling you, not ready to ride. So now we're going to talk just a little bit about what the machine looks like when it's charged.
When you have your machine plugged in, you'll see some green lights that are appearing in that middle panel by the foot pads. What you're looking at this moment is two green lights. That means the machine is currently in a charge mode, so it's trying to charge. The battery needs to be recharged. If it was fully charged, it would look like this, with the green lights flashing back and forth. So this machine is simply going to be on like a trickle charge, and will be ready to ride with a full 8 bars of capacity on its Infokey. So again, flashing green lights means that it's fully charged. Solid green light means that it's charging.
Well, I hope that you found this information useful, and that you'll be able to look back at it from time to time if you need a little bit of a refresher to operate the key or what the lights mean on your machine. Anyways, this video will be posted up on YouTube, and the link will be on our club website, so that you'll be able to easily find the link to the club site. So thanks for listening in, and hope it's helpful.